What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Disorderly Sports Report podcast. This is the official World Series preview of the podcast. Obviously, Red Sox versus Dodgers. I'm joined by two Kevins. Kevin Hatch has been on before. Kevin Babcock was talked about in that episode, but he was too busy drafting his fantasy football team to talk about sports, which is fucked up, I think.
It's not going too well, though.
Okay, there you go, karma. So we'll just jump right into it. First of all, just to lay the groundwork or whatever. This is the first time the Red Sox and Dodgers have played in the World Series since 1916, when it was the Brooklyn Dodgers versus the Boston Red Sox.
By the way, that's the only stat I came prepared with tonight, so you just took away all.
Took the rug out right from under you. Yeah, Brooklyn. Actually, do you know the other name of the Brooklyn Dodgers? They had interchangeable names. The Dodgers and something else. No?
Do not know.
No. Stumped them already.
Do you know how long the game was, the deciding game? Did you hear that?
14 innings.
Yeah.
13? 14?
No, but do you know how long that took, like, in regards to time?
No.
14 innings or something, and it was like an hour and 40 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, we're going to be having late nights here on the East Coast.
Wow.
Baseball is different.
What?
Wow. I guess no commercials, right, or anything like that?
No commercials. They just played, and obviously...
Was TV invented? That's a dumb question. I don't know if that is a dumb question.
No,
1916?
it wasn't invented.
Right. There you go.
Only
don't think
cameras.
so.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Wow. Babe Ruth was in that series.
Yep.
For the Red Sox.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So
pitching, right?
He was
probably,
pitching.
yeah. Brooklyn Robbins was like the other name. I think the official name. But then when you look it up, it says that the Dodgers was like interchangeable. And it's definitely all part of the Dodgers franchise still.
Interesting,
They
okay.
didn't go with the Brooklyn Dodgers officially until like the 30s or something. I don't know.
Were the Sox still the Sox at that
Yep.
point?
Yeah, Boston
Okay.
Red Sox. Yep.
I thought they were like the Red Stockings or something.
They were something else from like late 1800s to like 19. By the way, this isn't all like in my head. I literally just looked it up like an hour ago. That's the only reason I know this. But yeah, so they played in 1916, haven't played since. This is the fourth time the Red Sox were in the World Series in our lifetime. So obviously the other three were 2004, 2007, 2013. They won them all. The Dodgers came up short last year against the Astros. That was their only World Series appearance since the 80s. And the Red Sox opened as a betting favorite by 165, minus 165 on Bovado. So a favorite, not a crazy favorite. I don't know. You might know. Do you know what the odds were against like the Astros and...
The odds against the Brewers were like minus 210 or something.
Oh, the Dodgers.
The Astros were favored to beat the Red Sox,
They were?
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
right.
Not
that-
100% sure, but
What a
I'm
bunch-
like,
what a bunch
I'd say
of
like
idiots those odds players are, huh?
75% sure of that.
Jesus. All right, so let's just... What are your overall thoughts on the Red Sox this year, postseason, just whatever?
My thoughts on it, in recent years, I feel like the Red Sox have really ended the season kind of strongly in past seasons, and then sort of just were really cold in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This year seemed to be the opposite of that. I felt like the end of the season wasn't really as strong as they could have been. I know that at one point in time, I was thinking maybe they were going to get that 116 win record.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, and so I was thinking maybe that was a possibility. The last couple of weeks of the season clearly stomped that out for me. But the playoffs have been going really well so far, much better than I expected. The pitching has really come together. I don't want to get too far ahead of the conversation, but there are certain players coming out of the woodwork really that I didn't expect to do so well, such as Brock Holt and Jackie Bradley.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. And I honestly, all right. So first of all, just following up on that, do you think it's coincidence or almost? I feel like one of the reasons that we kind of missed that mark of setting the all-time record is because at least it seemed like with putting Chris Sale on the DL when maybe he could have fought through it, things like that. Like I think limiting people's innings, benching certain people, that's kind of been Cora's game plan the whole time to take his foot off the gas a little bit. Still, I mean, we won more games than any Red Sox team ever, so it's not like they completely took their foot off the gas, but they took their foot off the gas a little bit, and all of a sudden now we're thriving in the postseason, which I think is Cora's plan all along. Do you think it's?
Oh, yeah.
You think it's the Cora effect is real, or you think it's a coincidence that this all worked out?
I totally think it's real, and I think that's the most important thing is at the end of the day getting those rings, getting the World Series title. I think that 116 wins is nice and everything, but it doesn't mean anything unless you come out on top at the end of the postseason.
I think that Cora deservedly is getting credit, but I also think that people discount this core of Red Sox being in 2 straight postseasons. I think they would have had a good postseason, really, no matter who their manager was. I think Cora definitely gave them a better chance to do it, but they've slowly been growing up. I mean, it's tough to play in the playoffs, and a lot of these young kids last year was their first year in big at bats. They got a taste for it. They came back this year and they were ready. So I think that plays a role in it as well. And like I said, I do think Cora's done a great job, but I think that experience really plays a role.
Yeah, I would say the only thing with Cora, I think the bigger effect, you can look at the X's and O's of benching certain people and whatever and figuring out and working. I think one of the big things that, people have talked about it, but working guys like Brock Holt and Nunez and people like that who are more utility guys and working them into the games throughout the season, so they're not like cold guys coming off the bench. Like these guys have had big moments, and it's been. Nunez not as much, I guess, in the postseason. Well, no, he's had big moments too, I guess, but. Just these guys are almost like regular players. They don't feel like they're lesser than the starters. And I think I've heard people talk about this, but that's the player that Alex Cora was. So I feel like he values that kind of guy a lot. But I think that is great, and all the tangibles are great. But I think the chemistry he brings to the team and just everything like that, he changed the entire culture. Like Farrell, I feel like ran the team like he's a drill sergeant or something. And Cora, all the players said it too. They're like, "What's the number one thing that Cora will yell at you guys at?" And he'll walk into a locker room. He's like, "Why isn't there music playing?" He'll get mad about shit like that. And I feel like that's jokingly, obviously, but I feel like he's changed the whole culture. And this team it's easy when you're winning this many games, but I feel like they're just, I don't know, the camaraderie between all of them is crazy.
Yep, yeah. It's free and easy, which helps. So when you have a taste for it, the postseason, now you come into a locker room where it's free and easy. You have a manager who's not putting additional pressure on you. They're going into games relaxed, and they're getting results. And not just getting results, we're killing two of the best teams in Major League Baseball in series that seemed like they had potential to go the distance. We're killing them.
So that's the next thing I've written down, so I'll just jump to it. But how shocked are you at how easy the Yankees and Astros series were? Because I going into it, and they didn't even feel easy in the moment, but then after you look back and you're like, oh, we just ran through both those teams. And I think, it's easy, it's recency bias, whatever. I think the Yankees and Astros teams that we beat this year are two of the best Yankees and Astros teams ever, and we just ran through them. It's insane.
Yep.
Are you surprised by that? I don't even know how to.
I was definitely pretty surprised. And speaking of one of the better Yankees teams, one of my favorite stats from this year was that it was the first season that both the Red Sox and the Yankees had 100 wins in a season
ever
together. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
So I thought that was pretty amazing that both teams were able to get that many wins. In my opinion, I thought that once we got through the Yankees, I didn't really have a lot of hope for beating the Astros. I thought the Yankees were tough, and I thought the Astros are going to be tougher. So the Red Sox definitely exceeded my expectations and just got the job done when it needed to be done.
Yeah, you can go back to I did a mini episode last week before the Astros series started, and I'm pretty sure I definitely talked about it. I'm pretty sure I said in there that part of me was like, all right, Red Sox and Yankees is great, but we're basically competing for the right to lose to the Astros. The Astros are much scarier, I thought.
Absolutely, yeah.
It would hurt more to lose to the Yankees, so I was more nervous about that series just because, all right, we lost to the Astros, fine, they're great. That the Yankees loss would have killed me. But I was more sure that we could beat the Yankees than I was that we could beat the Astros. I thought we could do it, but...
I think it's shocking because, number one, you look at the way... So you're telling me we're not just going to win these series, but we are going to just destroy these teams with what, in the Astros series, Chris Sale pitched 4 innings and Craig Kimbrell gave thousands of people in the Massachusetts area heart attacks. If you were to tell me going into it that those two things happen and we win in 5, told you you're crazy. So I think it was absolutely shocking, or at least it was for me, and just this is one of the happiest I've been as a Red Sox fan in a while.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is not only is it awesome, obviously, that we're winning, but it just feels like we're doing things we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Even Mookie and JD have been at least by their standards, relatively quiet too. All the stars I feel like are not bad. They're doing all right. They're getting the job done, but they're not doing it as efficiently as they did in the regular season. And the random people, as you mentioned, like a Jackie Bradley Jr., Brock Holt hitting for the cycle against the Yankees, just crazy things where it's like holy shit, this is, I don't know, it's just different. And I think you need that almost in a postseason run to have these unsung heroes step up. You're not just going to do it with your regular stars, I think.
Absolutely.
But speaking of
Ryan Brazier, we haven't said him. Throw his name in there. Come out of nowhere to be our eighth inning guy.
His weird stance where it looks like he's shrugging off his shoulder. He just looks so nonchalant. He looks like they grabbed some dude out of the crowd. The fact that he came from Japan and he's the guy is crazy. He's more nails than Kimbrel. I think that's not even arguable at this point in the postseason. So.
Who do you want on the mound? I definitely want.
People talked about maybe making him the closer. They would never do that.
Cora showed his hand. He's not going to do it. No. In that game 5, I was like, My God, I do not need to see Kimbrough after 6 outs the night before.
Yeah.
He came back with them, and that's going to be his guy. So
Speaking of that 6-out game, that Benintendi catch, I think it's got to be like one of the biggest moments in like Red Sox history. Like I think if you win the World Series, I think if not, it's like, oh, great catch, but it won't go down. But if we win the World Series, it goes down as like, I mean, it was one game, but we would have lost that game, would have swung the momentum. Like we might not be in this position if it wasn't for that one catch. I mean, I don't know. It was crazy, especially to do it against Bregman too, which is incredible.
I would say that that's going to go down as, we have a lot of, or at least in my time, like key Red Sox moments you remember, and I put that one in the same class as like a David Ortiz grand slam. Right. Not necessarily the walk-off, but I'll go the grand slam in either like the 7th or the 8th against the Tigers that kept us in that series, and I put that catch right in that because that was phenomenal.
Yeah,
for sure.
I read a stat that said of all, like, that is his best catch of the year by like StatCast, where they do catch probability, and that was like the lowest catch probability he's ever caught all year.
I mean, he got a perfect jump on it. It was full extension. I mean, even with all that too, I feel like it was just inches away from missing it, and then just I don't know if I'm sure they don't factor in because you're talking about just like the technical ability of it, right? That's what the stat tracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like it's never mind in regards to like an average defender so it's not necessarily but that is the lowest percentage, like his percentage chance of catching that.
Yeah, and that's not taking into account the huge pressure of that moment too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was
the momentum going
catch.
all Astros away too. Like it was everything.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of outfielders play a ball like that, and just in fear of blowing the game, they come up short, just get a nice one hop on it, and then get it in as quick as possible. But with 2 outs in that situation, the Astros are clearly running on that, and that's going to be a tie ball game at the very least if he doesn't catch that.
Yeah, if he lets it one hop tied, yes,
it's game over.
People are saying like the guy at first like might have scored, game might have been no, he definitely would have scored.
Yeah,
because they're definitely running on contact. There's no doubt in my mind the guy at first would have scored if that went past. I have to go back and see like where Jackie Bradley Jr. was on the field, but it's over.
It was at least going to get to the wall before it was getting in.
100%. So I mean that's insane. It was at like 1:30 in the morning here too, East Coast. So I feel like that. Like I like literally jumped up and screamed. By the way, I got yelled at from my neighbor during the McGregor fight, and we weren't even that loud. There was like some of us, and I guess we were just like loud in general. I had people over, and she's like, "Did you have people over last night?" And I was like, yeah. And she's like, "Okay." I wasn't sure. It's kind of loud. I don't know if that's coming from your apartment. I was like, okay, like what do you want? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's McGregor fight. Come on,
apartment living.
Do you have a life, lady?
Did I tell you about that lady downstairs?
No,
not talk.
I think her dog
tells me she's not a podcast listener. No, I don't think she is. I think that must have been somebody else.
I mean, it was leashless out there. There was no owner. Scared the crap out of me.
No, that lady when I first started, or when she first moved in, I like walked downstairs and she yelled at me for having. She was like, "Is that your car that was parked like along the curb because I couldn't get out of my parking spot the other day?" And I was like, "No, it's not. That wasn't my car." I was like walking in my car. She's like, "Okay." I was like, she didn't believe me, and I was like, "Is it this car? Like I'm getting into it right now." She's like, "Kind of looked like it, but okay, that's fine. I believe you." And then she said that she went upstairs when apparently my car was parked there, which I've never parked ever against that car. So I don't know what she's talking about. She came upstairs and knocked on the door and claims that she heard me go and look through the people, walk back into this room, and turn the TV up louder. And I was like, "Lady, none of this happened." Like, so yeah,
she's crazy.
She might be a podcast
like paranoia.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hope she's not listening.
No, that's a podcast guest we need on. I think this would be. Let's get to the bottom of this. Her side, your side. Yeah,
she just fucking hates me.
I'll mediate this.
I will say, follow up to that. Like a month later, I saw a car that kind of looks like mine. It was like a different. It was like a Honda or something, but it was like a different SUV, but similar color, parked along the curb. I still don't know who that car was, but I was like, this must have been. But we ended the conversation, and I know with 100% certainty she thinks I just lied to her face.
Is this an episode of Seinfeld right now? Right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Classic mix-up of 2 different cars. I'm thinking of like the Ass Man episode right now.
Oh yeah. By the way, I will say I feel like both of you, or your whole group even, is so skilled at coming up with mock Seinfeld episodes.
We have a really good one.
We text her in the middle of the day, and we think about Seinfeld scripts.
Yeah, we got a good one going right now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's through like a group chat, right? You guys should like put this on a blog.
When we get serious into it, it's just me and Kev.
It's just us two. Yep. Other people don't really. We like really. We think of like dialogue.
Shut the fuck up. I'm working.
Oh yeah, we start making quotes for different.
Look out for the good night texter.
Yep.
Episode coming out soon.
Oh
Can't really go into it.
Can you guys do make a blog about this? Why would you?
Yeah, well, there's a Twitter account that I think definitely
inspired us. Yeah,
as if it was like modern day, right?
Modern Seinfeld, it inspired us. Shout out to that
totally
Twitter account.
Right.
It's really good.
It shows how good of a show that is, that it can just keep staying relevant with the times.
For sure.
So.
I will. All right, so Section 10 podcast. Shout out to them. I love that podcast. Barstool, obviously. It's like, actually, if you are a Red Sox fan, you must just at least know about it. Even people. Actually, this is interesting. I had something, but I went on a tangent. So, Section 10, the nicknames they come up with have like just permeated throughout baseball. Even like the do damage thing, I feel like that was really highlighted by Barstool and Section 10 and all that when Cashman said that. Yeah, so I even people who don't know about it like use the lingo unknowingly. Like people will say like Benny biceps and things like that. So I went to the Red Sox Yankees ALDS game 1, and that's the first playoff game I ever went to. It was awesome. I probably talked about it on a previous podcast, but there's a Yankees fan in front of me. He was a huge douchebag. He was standing the whole time. He ended up getting kicked out of the stadium for vaping. But also because he was arguing with different people, they warned him a couple times because he's like literally looking behind him and yelling at like this lady who was wearing a Red Sox shirt, and they were looking for an excuse. But then he started vaping. But he's the only person standing. He's like blowing it like super obviously, and I was like, all right, this is your reason to get him out. So they just got rid of him. I didn't know why, but I was like, at some point in this game, this guy's getting removed from the game. Like he was so obnoxious, looking for trouble the whole time. So he was out. Which shout out to that kid. But then behind us, some kid made a joke where he was talking about. It's hard to retell, but I swear to God, the tone of voice that he used, I swear he was making a Section 10 reference when he was saying, he basically was like, wait, I mean, the Yankees obviously, they won the division, right? They had 103 wins. Like, they must have won the division, right? Like, there's no way you would get 103 wins and don't win the division. He was like saying it sarcastically, which is something that people say, but it's also like a recurring sort of way to make a joke on Section 10. So I turned around to him and I said, are you sitting down? And he was like, yeah. Because that's like what they do all the time on this podcast. They literally did. I was like, you sitting down? He's like, yeah. And I was like, you sitting down? He's like, yeah. And I was like, thought I still had him at this point. I was like, this is going to be perfect. This is going to make a Section 10 connection. And then I was like, the Red Sox won the division. And he's like, no, I know. I was just trying to make a joke. I was like, oh, yeah, sorry. I thought you were like referencing some podcast. And then throughout that, he said Raffy Big Scoops. He said Benny Biceps. He like made 4 or 5 other Section 10 references. I was like, dude, how did you miss this? I got really mad at this kid.
Either he's trolling you or he really has no idea.
No, he was like, he was shocked that I like confronted him. He was like, I was trying to make a joke. I was like, no, I know that. I was trying to, oh, Jesus, it was a disaster. Anyway, but going back to what I actually had written.
Shout out to that kid.
I was so mad about that.
Rescind shout
the
out
kid in
to
front
that
of me,
kid.
huge Barstool fan. We actually talked about the only kid that kid sucks. The kid I shouted out, that kid sucks.
Shout out rescinded.
Yeah, that kid's. Oh,
yeah,
his
we're gonna
shout-out.
delete.
Right,
we're gonna delete that shout out.
Yeah,
You're not even
yeah.
gonna hear it, so you don't know what we're talking about right now.
That's staying in there because you shouldn't have ever done it, but it's on the record. But the reason I brought up Section 10 because they asked this question on the most recent podcast, and I thought it'd be an interesting one. So when you look back to just the postseason so far. What is your one like big standout moment? What's the one thing that stands out from the Yankees and Astros series?
I mean, for me, other than the Benintendi catch, because I think that catch swings the series, but I think I've already discussed that, so I'll give you another. I mean,
sure.
In my opinion, it's the Mookie Betts, Jose Altuve. I think that was number one, a huge, obviously, turning point.
Yeah.
But also just promoted a lot of controversy, and, you know, MLB's kind of, they need headlines. It gave them, I mean, that was front, right on SportsCenter. Huge debate. So I think that was a huge part.
Sure.
In the Yankees series, as a Red Sox fan, there was a moment when Ryan Brazier, he told someone to like get in the box.
Yep.
I can't tell you exactly who it was.
Yeah, I think it's Gary Sanchez.
Yep.
He kept stepping out and he's like, get in the fucking box.
And I just felt like that like set the tone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, here we go. Like, this is it. We want this moment. We're in the playoffs this year and we're not scared. We're like, get in the box. We're going to get you out.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a huge tone setter for us.
Sure.
Yeah.
You got something? I didn't give you guys any time to prepare for this.
No, that's fine. Well, two things that I was thinking of, not really from the game itself, but just things that I remember really vividly from both series are the fact that both the Yankees and the Astros have tried to kind of not intimidate us.
You took mine. That was mine. Continue, but that was mine.
Like with the Yankees, Judge playing New York outside of the clubhouse after the game, and then with I believe it was Bregman, tweeting the back-to-back-to-back homers against Eovaldi. I just loved, first of all, that these teams are trolling the Red Sox, and the Red Sox are just coming out and kicking their asses. But secondly, my favorite thing about the Red Sox is that they're just so confident in themselves that they do not feel any need to respond to the, like, maybe I'm missing something here, but like I haven't seen any like public responses from any of the Sox players. I mean, I haven't really dug for them, but
yeah, I'll tell
I
you
haven't
this.
seen them saying like "shut the hell up, Judge" or.
They've responded in very funny ways, but there have been like somewhat. I'm sure you've seen these too. It's probably not like making the connection, but the New York one when we won that series, we were like playing that in the locker room,
yeah,
which is awesome. The series over at that point.
Yep.
And then my personal favorite in response to the Bregman one, when Eovaldi came in relief in like that last game, and he threw, he basically painted a corner with a 102 mile per hour fastball. He got swung and missed. Bregman swung and missed, and it was just an amazing play. But then there's a clip of David Price in the dugout, and he's just like, "Yeah, post that." Like you can see, you have to read his lips, but he says that, and for sure he says that. So that's also fucking awesome. But those aren't public; they can't really caught him. But
he didn't like tweet it back at Bregman.
Yeah, and because you took mine, which that, I mean, if you think about how many moments there are, it's like weird that you. But yeah, that was mine. Yeah. I'll go with the huge turnaround of David Price. Like his last start was fucking ridiculous. What was it? 6 innings. I didn't write it down, but 6 innings, 3 hits, no walks, and 9 strikeouts.
9 strikeouts. Yeah,
it's insane. That's insane. And this is also, not to go back to Section 10. Coley brought this up, but this is also an interesting point. When they had the huge Andrew Benintendi catch, you could see like David Price just freaking out,
going
in the
nuts.
bullpen.
The kick cracked me up.
It just
seemed, like kicked the fence. It cracked me up.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite moment of the series, was that kick.
But I feel like that.
No, you didn't say that in your.
Too late.
I forgot about it.
Too late. You get one. But that moment, that was the first time it was like, oh shit, David Price is like he is. I do think he's mentally weak. I do think he crumbles in the moment. But if you can build up all the support around him and make him confident, then like look what happened. And that could be a coincidence. We're talking about a real small sample size, but he had like a good outing in his first start. That the closer game was ridiculous. Like that was as good as you can expect out of any starter in the postseason, especially against that lineup. And then just it seems like his whole attitude's changed, and I'm hoping that sort of carries over into the World Series too. We'll find out. I mean, game 2. But.
Yeah.
Whew. I got faith in him. He threw a lot of changeups. I know that was like a big adjustment for him. There was the percentage of changeups he threw is I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know it's higher than at any other point in his career. I know that.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then just to mention it before we move on to the actual World Series, the bullpen, just the fact that, I mean, besides Kimbrel has been very shaky. He's been shaky basically since the All-Star break. He was shaky in the postseason. But everybody else, I feel like, has really like stepped up and because that was clearly like that was the storyline going in. Like, yeah, but the Red Sox bullpen, I feel like they've been great pretty much throughout the entire series. I mean, both series.
Yeah, they've been really good. I mean, you look at Brazier, Barnes, and then whoever we pull as a starter to put in. I really like that Cora does that. He goes for the throat. We needed something like that. Rick Porcello's been great. Eovaldi, I was kind of semi-mad when they took Eovaldi out in that game against the Astros. I wanted him to go another inning.
That was game 5, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I watched that in a bar in Atlanta, by the way, which is just weird. But I watched like the first half of the game on my phone as my uncle was driving us in a rental car. We went to a bar to grab a drink, and I watched the last 3 innings, maybe. I feel like I saw the big moments, but yeah, I basically watched David Price start on a phone, so that sucked too. But
I felt really good for Price. He really deserved that. I know Red Sox fans get mad at him. I mean, obviously, we didn't give him the money. The Sox gave him the money. He was good all year. For me personally, I'm happy to see it. I hate the way the Boston media destroys people sometimes.
I hate I mean, it's not like, what are you going to tell this guy to accept less money? Like he got what he like had earned with his previous seasons, and he got that, and I'm sure he's trying his hardest. Like, what are people mad about? But I understand being disappointed, but I don't know. I think it's better to just support the guy. Like, he seems like a good dude.
It's just
like,
nothing for people to talk about. That's why it gets skewered.
Sure. But yeah, that's all right. Let's move on to the World Series. Those first 2 series are crazy. I've talked about it in previous episodes, but it feels like you almost need to recap it before the World Series. Obviously, we're playing the Dodgers now. I guess we can start with Game 1. Chris Sale, Clayton Kershaw. First of all, because we haven't even talked about him yet. Yeah. Where are you guys at with Chris Sale? there's been questions about his velocity, the stomach virus. He didn't even make the trip to Houston, right?
Not the stomach,
the belly button ring.
Yeah, belly
Is
button
that
ring.
real or is that a troll?
No, I would say he's trolling.
That's what I thought, but I don't. He's a weird enough dude where he might have a belly button.
Not have that,
right.
in my opinion.
I don't know.
But
Did you see
it's
Karavis' tweet from Barstool? Karavis posted an Instagram picture of him being like, he's like, I'm one with
with a belly
also
button.
fake, also a fake ring.
Yeah.
But
he doesn't have it. He doesn't.
Got to be trolling.
But yeah, but whatever it was, like whether it's food poisoning or whatever, I'm sure he's fine now. It seems like it's been a while, and we obviously have the whole break since the end of the last series, going into the World Series. But even before that, his start was a little iffy against the Astros. I don't know. He was fine against the Yankees, but it just seems like the whole last month or two, there's been question marks about Chris Sale and whether that's just a false narrative. Obviously, he's playing better teams now. What's the confidence level at with Chris Sale right now?
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton to say besides the fact that I do think I have a lot of confidence in him. And back to the whole, virus, belly button ring thing. I think the Red Sox almost like that it's gotten a little blown up in the media because I think that's almost an advantage to the Red Sox because they know themselves and they know their capabilities. And I think it's just natural. Red Sox are usually the underdog, but they also, I think we enjoy being the underdog as well. I think we like having odds stacked against us because it's just always felt so good to overcome those.
Sure.
So, but I definitely think I have a lot of confidence in Price.
Did it real quick. I want to stay on the World Series now, but just going
Sorry,
back.
where I meant Sale. My bad.
No,
I just said Price.
Oh yeah. No, by the way, just a quick podcasting thing. You know how many times I say something wrong and then I won't know until I'm editing it, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like I gotta
Sorry,
leave
all
it in
the
there.
viewers out there, listeners out
It's
there.
terrible. I lose all my credibility. But going back real quick, just the fact that we won more teams than anyone in baseball, more teams than any Red Sox team has ever won, and yet we are still the underdogs against the Astros. That's insane. Mm-hmm. That's like an insane thing. It shows you what perception. Like the defending world champs. I understand also they won almost as many games as us, and they're injured for a lot of the year. Like it made sense, but just the fact that, especially in hindsight, when you look, we just ran through them 4-1, swept them in Houston. You look back at that and you're like that's crazy that we were underestimated like this.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, there was a weird betting quirk actually. If the Red Sox, obviously before that series was decided, they had betting odds for every World Series matchup, and the Red Sox were bigger favorites over both NL teams, but not favored versus the Astros, if that makes sense. So the Astros would have been Vegas viewed as more 50-50 series. As opposed to how they see the Red Sox match.
We were a bigger favorite against the NL teams than the Astros were?
Yes.
Wow.
And
it is weird.
Not favored in the AL series.
Because I do...
Very unique.
For sure, whoever won the AL
really
should be
odd.
the favorite in the World Series. Like that one's just like the AL...
But we were
ALCS
bigger
is
favorites
stronger
than the Astros.
That's crazy.
So weird.
I guess it's like, well, if the Red Sox are good enough to get past the Astros, then they're going to run through... That is weird. Anyway, do you have what's your stance on Chris Sale?
I don't think he's 100% healthy, but I have faith in him because he gets to face an NL lineup. I mean, I think that's a really big deal. We just are coming off lineups against the Yankees and the Astros where you can't take a breather at any point. NL is a completely different league. You can have holes in that 8-9 spot. Not necessarily the Giants. The Dodgers. But you get to face the pitcher.
Monday Night Football is on TV right now, by the way, in case you're wondering what that little slip up was.
Yeah, the Giants suck, and I love watching them suck. So,
agreed. There's no. First of all, so similar to like other podcasts I listen to, we're not trying to hide our biases here. We're clearly Red Sox fans. We haven't mentioned the Dodgers one time yet. We'll get to them. We haven't mentioned them yet. And then also, just in the spirit of that, if you listen to any episodes of the podcast, I'm obviously a Cowboys fan, so I also very much hate the Giants. And we can talk real quick about football at the end.
Yeah.
But with that, with Chris Sale facing the NL lineup for the first time, and obviously, to your point, it's a weaker lineup than the Astros or the Yankees for sure. But then there's also the aspect of batters who haven't faced Chris Sale very often. You have that whole thing, but that goes both ways. And then Clayton Kershaw is also, historically a lights out pitcher. Are you scared of Clayton Kershaw at all?
Oh, I think if you're not scared of Kershaw, you're fooling yourself. But a thing that I have in regards to, I guess, Red Sox confidence is we're coming off what people said is the best starting pitching in the majors in the Astros, and we hit every single game. We jumped out every game. We would start games, score 3 runs, 2 runs, put pressure on right away. So our offense is rolling, and I got faith that we can keep it up. So
Price versus Verlander for that game. If you just wrote in the stat line, you're like you would just assume that the teams were switched basically as far as like who hit who. That's the most. If you want to break it down, Verlander might be historically at least one of the best postseason pitchers of all time, and David Price might be the worst postseason pitcher of all time. As far as just, especially when it comes to meeting expectations and how good he is during the regular season, that matchup for that to play out the way it did is just unbelievable. I still can't get over that.
I agree.
Yeah, I was almost kind of expecting that we were just going to be giving away Game 5 and just come back strong and clean it up in Game 6. I didn't really have a lot of hope that we were going to take down Verlander the way we did.
Agreed, 100%.
To be honest, that game meant so much to me because I knew right when we'd won that, I had a weekend where I could relax.
Yeah.
It was huge.
I was in
Give the heart a
Atlanta.
rest.
Yeah. I didn't finish the story. The reason I was in Atlanta is for my cousin's wedding, and I was like, I'm going to have to try to find a way to like sneak out of my cousin's wedding and watch this game. Like I did the math in the week leading up to it. Like I was like, what am I going to do Saturday? And then I flew home Sunday. I would have missed some of the game, I think, in the air. Like, it was a disaster. And then I was like, oh, great. Thanks for winning, guys.
Or you could pull
huge.
like a Jimmy Fallon and Fever Pitch where you don't listen to anybody talking about the game.
Yeah,
Have your girlfriend cover up your ears.
That never works. There's also a great, I think it was a Super Bowl maybe, in How I Met Your Mother, where they designed like a box that allows you to like block out the rest of the world and just like walk through the streets.
I wasn't a viewer of that show.
That show is
great
actually
episodes.
very underrated.
Yeah.
Well,
recommend it.
Underrated for like TV like snobs, and because I mean like regular people love that show, so maybe even overrated in that department.
Yeah, I'm just not a regular person, I guess.
Wow, yeah, I'd say you're a TV
High
snob.
standards,
It's underrated.
yeah.
Watch it. I agree. So I feel like I'm in that same category. Watch How I Met Your Mother. It's great. I assume it's on Netflix, right? The whole series.
I'm not sure. I've seen it all. It
many
was on
seasons?
Netflix about a year
like
and a half
9
ago.
seasons.
It's a good amount of seasons. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. Solid.
It's
I'll
quick.
do
and
that
easy to watch.
after I watch Lost. I've been told by too many people to watch that, so
Yeah,
it's next on my list.
you got to watch. You know that it starts to get off the rails as the season goes. I'm sure you've heard that, but
I've already heard quite big spoilers about the show. But
I want to
still
say, yeah, but
still wanna get into it.
counterpoint to that is once it goes off the rails, you're already in. So it doesn't, like it's like it went off the rails. I agree with that feedback, but it's like, well, I'm in. So you'll still enjoy it.
I'm riding it off the rails.
It's great.
Nice.
Fun fact at the beginning, I think I've talked about this. This is a spoiler for literally episode 1, like the premiere. So I don't care. Like,
right.
but originally they're gonna kill off the main character. And did I tell you that?
Nope.
And Jeff
in
Probst
episode 1.
It comes on the island.
Yeah. No, that's but
I don't know what to expect.
Originally, Matthew Fox or whatever, the main character, originally the idea that J.J. Abrams had was he's going to have you get attached to this character in episode 1 and kill him off at the end of episode 1. And the whole thing was supposed to basically undermine this concept that the main character always survives and everything. So he's going to kill off. He's going to literally have the whole
Game of
episode
Thrones
focused on him,
stuff.
make him the hero, kill him at the end of episode 1, and then that would set the tone for the rest of the series, where anyone could die at any point. And NBC or Fox, I don't know.
I think it was NBC.
NBC. They said no, we're going to lose all
I thought it was
of you.
ABC.
Oh, ABC. You
I didn't even watch that show. Come on, guys.
I don't know.
Look at
It was ABC.
Okay. All right.
Googled it.
No, I'm just very confident. I'm confident.
Yeah. This is, by the way, we're a makeshift trivia team. This is like one half
Yeah.
our go-to
Yeah,
trivia
it's
team
true.
for those listeners, so you can see how smart we are. But
Any of you-
these kind of indecisions often lead to arguments. But I will say, whatever it was, the network pulled the plug on it because they were like, no, we're going to lose. It's a pilot. We need to like get a core audience. We're going to lose them. It's too bold of a move. I'm sure like HBO or somebody would have allowed it, or even like AMC these days, FX.
We know HBO would have.
Yeah. But they basically pulled the plug, which I actually think would have set a really cool tone.
ABC, I was right.
All right.
Nah.
He looked it up.
whatever.
He's most confident.
Yeah.
Well, I have to really rub in any TV show or movie reference that I get right, because typically these guys lead the charge on the trivia team. That's usually when I go grab a beer. So whenever I get a bone, I gotta savor it.
Yeah,
Hey, you got all the science questions right.
Yeah, Hatch is more of our nature guy.
Yep.
Anything that would appear on planet Earth, you'll kill it.
Yeah, exactly. Rare trivia category, however.
It comes up more than you think, actually, randomly. We need a literature someone. If someone's listening, if you're smart at literature, join the team.
We
DM
need
us.
some people who like some poetry, some classic lit.
Yeah, we don't got that. But anyway,
that sounded really
I digress.
depressing.
I hope I don't get shit for spoiling episode 1 spoiler from a show that's like 15 years old. But if I did, sorry. Matthew Fox does not die at the end of episode 1 of the show. So, what else have
But
we've
Jeff
got
Probst
off the
does
rails?
come on the show.
That's
Right.
I will happily spoil the fact that he does not. Game 2, and this is interesting because this is something we've already sort of touched on. We know what he did against the Astros. He kind of turned things around. We also know what he's done historically in the playoffs. David Price is starting against. I had to write this out phonetically because I haven't watched a lot of Dodgers games. He's been in the league for like 15 years too, but the Dodgers starter is Hyunjin Ryu.
Yep.
Okay.
He's pretty good.
I want to make sure. I know the highlight I looked up. It's just him like hitting the shit out of the ball too, which is like a weird stat, but like he also like hits pretty well. But for a pitcher anyway.
So it's interesting that they start him in Boston.
Yes, because is he their number 2 guy?
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head.
I know that rookie closed
Kershaw's
out,
number 1.
and that rookie closed out Game 7.
I mean, you're obviously, if you go to Game 7, your pitching lineup can be pretty, or at least not set up the way you'd like it, like the Red Sox is. But I believe he is their number 2, if I had to guess.
Okay.
Rich Hill is their 3.
Rich Hill, actually, I feel like is randomly.
Used to be with the Sox. He might be their 4. I don't know.
I can see him randomly being a problem, actually, from just like little things I've seen. But
he knows the Sox, though. We had him in our system.
Right. No, I'm sure that I feel like it's a very different system, but still. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But the bigger question, obviously, just from our perspective, is DP back, or was that start against the Astros a fluke? Do you think that he's still the guy who basically sucks in the postseason, or is he good again?
I think to Kevin's earlier point, or maybe you said it, Nick, about he's kind of a little bit of a head case, and Boston is definitely a city where you're really on one of the highest stages in sports. There's a lot of criticism around, but when you do well, you get a lot of praise, a lot of recognition. And I think that we're kind of David Price is riding all that. Like he's getting a ton of very good feedback, and I think that'll play out positively for his next start. Had he done bad in the Astros series, or worse than he did, I think it would have been more in his head. Like he's got to turn it around. He's got so much pressure on him to prove that he's a great pitcher. I think he just did that, and now he can continue to be great.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree, and I just go back to we just played the Yankees. You pitched against the Astros. Like it sounds disrespectful, but it almost feels like a breath of fresh air to pitch against a National League team. So I think that also helps your mindset, and I definitely have faith. The one thing I would say is sometimes I wonder if David Price is better on the road than in Boston, where he feels all those fans on top of him. That may be the only thing that I would have flip-flopped, is maybe started him Game 3 in LA. LA not famous for like ruckus crowds. I don't know. He looked good on the road, felt like he was more motivated by the crowd and didn't feel any pressure. So
aren't the first 3 in Boston?
Nope.
Two.
First 2.
Oh, 2.
Yeah, 2-3-2.
2-3.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I agree. And this is just a weird stat in general, but the Red Sox were undefeated on the road and 500 at home during the postseason, which is crazy. It's like such a weird thing. And I mean, whatever, now it's once again hindsight, so when you look back, it makes sense and it all checks out, I guess. But when you're going into it, you're nervous, right? Like, it's like, all right, we just split at home, and now we're going to Yankee Stadium. What's going to happen? And we just destroyed, the 16-1 game, and then we won the next game. It was a little bit closer, but we swept them, 5-game series, so it only took 2 games. And then against the Astros, same thing. We split at home. It's like, shit, now we're going to the Astros, and they have a crazy crowd. And it's like, how is this going to play out? And all of a sudden, I never expect. I know for a fact I said, I didn't think they were going to sweep us either, but I thought that nobody was winning 3 games in Houston, whether it was the Red Sox or Houston. For the Red Sox to have done it is insane. So we did that twice. We're 5-0 on road games, and I don't know if that's a coincidence and that plays into what David Price has done, but I also do agree that I think there's more pressure at home for him because of his history of choking and whatever. So I don't know. But even like the Yankee series early when he got the once again, Section 10 reference, the Davey Tinglefingers nickname, when he has some numbness in his fingers after giving up like 100 runs to the Yankees in like one inning. So I don't know. And that was at Fenway. So
Yep.
We'll see. I think he's our second best pitcher for sure, and I do think you have to play him.
Ouch.
Ooh,
Eovaldi?
I was going to say,
maybe
Eovaldi's
in the
gotta be in
postseason,
that
but
Right now,
not in general.
who do you have more faith in? I want to see him pitch.
I agree.
Every time he's on the mound, I feel very confident. He just seems locked in, and I love the fact that he knows he can make big money if he keeps performing. So he's going to keep putting in that work.
I agree, but he did get shelled sometimes in the regular season. So
Oh yeah, definitely.
it's hard. Whereas David Price,
but in the moment,
Come on, you're thinking of the Bregman tweets now.
I know, no, Bregman, that fired him up. And then before that, he was the guy who pitched that 16-1 game after the New York shit. So
Right.
he's our heart and soul of the team type guy,
Right.
which is
Yep.
great. He also just looks like when he's pitching, he looks like he's just like fiery. I think he responds to those big moments.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'm confident in David Price, which even that the way I just worded that by accident, like I feel I guess I'm confident. Seems like I'm not confident at all, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm rooting for him. I was confident going into the Astros start where I was like, you know what? Like, you're my guy. Let's fucking do this. That's basically my mindset the whole time, and it worked out. So I'm hoping that happens again, but I don't know. We'll see. The other little fun fact we get to see Mookie at second base.
hopefully,
Yeah.
I'm praying for
What do you
it.
mean? I think it's official. Didn't they announce it? I mean, they could change it still.
I mean,
obviously.
it's not
announced-
official.
they
It's being
announced for sure
considered.
you have to. Who are
pretty
you
sure-
going to bench then?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance you bench
Jackie?
JBJ against like Kershaw. He's a lefty.
I know. I just think you can't after that series.
I know. It's a tough call. I mean, personally, I'm team Mookie at second. I'd
Yeah.
love to see it.
I'm pretty sure.
Remember, we were drinking, watching, and we were so
Yeah.
pumped when Mookie went to second.
Yeah, I
in
feel
the
like I was
regular
there, too.
season, we were going wild. He made a sick play.
Well,
McLaden's, I'm assuming. I feel like I was there too.
Did
Go ahead.
Mookie play second in the minors? I thought I was reading
He
that.
plays. I think he
Yeah.
grew up as a
Right, that's what he
He
was.
takes ground balls at second base
Oh, yeah.
every day for the Red Sox. He takes infield grounders every
Yeah.
single day. He's always done that.
He came up as an infielder and then moved to, which is crazy because he's such a good outfielder too.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Oh, I have plenty of faith at him at second.
Yeah, I also think
at
every
second.
single like MLB player probably played shortstop for their high school team. I feel
Yeah.
like that was just like that's the position you play when you're the best player on the team, and or center field, I guess maybe. But I feel like everybody like played infield. But I do think even more than other guys, he came up as that. And the other thing to this is obviously we're not like there's no Pedroia. It's like our second baseman's a revolving door anyway, so you're not really like benching a star to put Mookie Betts there. So to me, it just makes sense.
I would have a point in regards to putting Mookie at second. I think it also shows you a lot about Cora if he does it, because that's really exposing yourself to potential a lot of criticism. If Mookie doesn't make plays there, why are you playing your MVP out of position? Even if Mookie struggles at the plate in the series doing that. So if he does it, I think that it shows a lot about Cora and that he's not afraid to take risks, nor does he give essentially a fuck about what anybody in the media thinks. He's going to do what he wants to do. We've seen it with Kimbrel. People freaking out. Oh, my God, why are you putting Kimbrel in there? And he just goes back to it. So,
He sticks to his guns.
yep,
Yeah.
you're going to learn a lot here.
I'm trying to think of what like alternatives because you have to play Mookie Betts and JD Martinez in every series. So what's the alternative? You put JD at like first?
Well, you can either. I mean, he's never played first ever in his career. I looked that up. I mean, it's either you
put like David Ortiz. You know, I
you're
just can't
either
think of,
sitting
like,
JBJ or Benintendi, and I mean, it's really a tough call for us
I think
because
Benny historically does have a hard time against lefty pitchers.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
But I feel like
think
Benny.
It
And
is
this
horrible.
is not because of the catch either. I've been saying this like the entire postseason. I feel like he has so many unsung at bats. Even when he doesn't do anything, he takes it long into the at bats. He gets a lot of walks. He gets a lot of like key contact hits. I feel like he's. I don't even know his stats. I'm just passing the eye test watching him. I feel like Benintendi's been great this postseason. So that worries me more. And Jackie Bradley Jr. is the easier move if you bench him, except for how good he did against the Astros.
Yeah.
Because if it was like normal Jackie, like he's been all year, then it's like I would almost even favor that idea. It's fun to see Mookie at second, but I'd be like, all right, yeah, put Mookie center field, JD Martinez in right field, and that's the easiest move. But it's hard to do now because you got to ride the hot hand. Mm-hmm. Although to be fair, Cora's never rode the hot hand. I feel like he just, like you said, he sticks to his guns.
yeah, he does. So,
I mean, we'll see, I guess, when we get there. But
yeah, maybe he'll get ejected from another game. We'll see somebody else roll. That was crazy
Yeah.
how that Yankees series started off with him getting ejected.
Oh, I was in Cape Cod, so I was gonna say I like had like a whole like I traveled around the country for this series. So I was in Cape Cod for that one, and it was terrible. There's no Wi-Fi. at which is great normally in Cape Cod. I love it, but like I literally was trying to watch on my phone on my data, and it was choppy and it would lag and it like kicked me out all the time. I had to log back in. That was the worst viewing experience I've had a game ever, I think. But and we lost, so it was all bad. Like I was getting updates and it would like come back and we'd be losing and be like fuck, like it was the worst. That was a disaster. The Atlanta one was very different. It was as much of a disaster, but we just kept winning, so it felt like it was like it was smooth sailing. But yeah, all right. I don't know if that might be all I have. Oh, Manny Machado is dirty as hell. Which, by the way, is a built-in storyline.
Whoop, 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 whoop. First Dodgers topic.
Oh,
we have a Dodgers topic alert. Yeah.
Bias alert.
Oh, yeah, but this is like a talking point. We're talking on a talking point. And by the way, the talking point, it was, I believe, Manny Machado is a bitch.
Well, essentially. But that's something that's agreed upon by the league.
Oh, yeah. I do
Christian
not like
Yelich
Machado.
said, fuck that motherfucker. Allegedly. So I didn't hear it on camera, but the reporter said.
The actual quote I heard from him that he did say was it was a dirty play by a dirty player. Yeah.
He said if it happened one time, then whatever, but he has a history of doing it. I mean, it's indisputable. He has an entire
documented
history. Yes. That play at first base was insanely dirty. Even stepping on first base with your right foot, like you just don't do that.
What were you saying about a storyline in itself?
Oh, it's built in, where it's basically we had to like wait for Aaron Judge to taunt us, wait for Alex Bregman to taunt us, and Manny Machado we already hate. We already have a built-in motivation.
I think Machado.
Pedroia's still on the team.
Machado will not be able to stop himself from either.
He'll do something.
Stepping on someone like that, or publicly, insulting somebody.
Yep.
And I think the Red Sox need to do what they've continued to do, not get dragged into it.
Just beat them.
Just kind of let their skills on the field really speak for them.
Yeah, and it wasn't even, if you remember back to when he slid Spikes up and like fucked up Pedroia, who really hasn't been the same since that injury, but when Machado did that at first, it was carried over multiple games. We like kept throwing at him, so it's like, which I don't know. That's something that I have mixed feelings about. I think you pay the price by getting thrown out once, and you can
I agree with that.
At the end of the day, it's like
there are no old rules.
It's almost like assault
anymore.
Yeah,
though.
This team I don't think would be doing that.
Not throwing at him, not initially anyway. I don't, or even in a World Series game.
Yeah.
But I do think that like the Machado thing, it's clearly very personal. Even like as far as personal rivalries go, and Red Sox Yankees this year brawled, but there's really no other incidents after that. Things like that. I think that the Machado thing carries over. So even though he was on a different team, even though Dustin Pedroia is not playing in this World Series, obviously he's in the dugout. We see him every game, but he's not playing in the World Series. I think that this storyline is still very personal. It's basically the same team that was on the roster when the original incident happened.
Yeah.
I think that there's already a built-in hate for this guy, especially if he does something else. Mm-hmm. But even if he doesn't, I think there's not that we're going to throw at him, but I think that's the motivation. It's like, let's not let this piece of shit beat us. I really think that's the...
Yeah. I think tensions are going to be running high until something... I think everyone's anticipating that something will happen.
Yep.
And that'll just be the tipping point of, some kind of altercation.
I mean, I think MLB wants to see some bad blood.
Sure.
That's good.
With these two massive
they need
franchises,
it right now, yeah.
Yeah, coast to coast.
And they've, by the way, been the two best. Astros were good last year, but the Dodgers were amazing last year. They're amazing this year. Obviously, back-to-back World Series. Yeah. So the MLB would love nothing more than to kickstart a little rivalry here. Unfortunately, you don't really see them in the regular season.
Right. So to have that guy from the AL East now on the Dodgers, I feel like it's kind of perfect. And then also, as soon as he gets up, the crowd's gonna be booing the shit out of him. Yep. So it's already built in. The storyline's already there. We don't have to wait for somebody to screw up and taunt us. Basically, like it's already there. So I think that's key. I think.
I agree.
That's it. Oh, the last thing I had written down was Nathan Eovaldi is the man. Which
yeah.
What about
written in the thing? I was like, I forget to mention. Yeah.
What about predictions? Do we want to
sure
do anything about?
Yeah,
that?
I will say. So Nate, who is basically a co-host at this point, I feel like he's been on like 3 or 4 of these things, and this is episode 7 maybe of this podcast. Nate Zielinski, who also has done a ton of writing for The Disorderly. Go to thedisorderly.com. I should have played that at the beginning. Go to thedisorderly.com for the best of sports entertainment. Disorderly Media on Twitter, Disorderly ENT on Facebook. My name is Nick Risner. You can find me on Twitter at Nick Risner, NickRizner. DMs are open for any feedback, criticism, whatever.
Slide into those DMs.
Slide into my DMs. But Nate said what? Red Sox in 6? Because he was supposed to come.
Yeah, he said Red Sox. Well, he's supporting the Giants and this sad football team. Yeah, personally, I would have dedicated to the podcast.
It's on though.
His allegiances are questionable.
Yeah, he probably use a distraction right now. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They just went for 2 down.
Did you get it?
No, they were. Look at the score right now. So they scored a touchdown. All they needed,
Odell looks sad, guys.
and they randomly go for 2. A very questionable call.
Yeah, Odell looks sad.
Oh well, he's always sad.
He's hanging out with Lil Wayne doing interviews. So yeah, predictions. What do you got?
Well, I would hate to steal Nate's prediction, but in his absence, I feel a little more comfortable doing it. I agree. I think 6
There's
games.
so many options. Though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the inner Red Sox allegiant in me wants to say
4.
we'll sweep them 4, of course. But the realistic side of me, I would say 6. Sounds pretty realistic to me.
All right.
Don't really have any.
I mean, my
explanation for
generation,
that.
we haven't seen the Red Sox lose in the World Series, so I'm expecting another win, and I'll say 5 games. I think we win the first 2 in Boston, and then I think we get 2 in LA.
That's my exact prediction. I think the same thing. I think we're going to flip it. Like, what we've been doing is obviously splitting at home and then sweeping away. I do think that, especially with the NL weird, pitchers hit, whatever.
Yeah.
I think they'll win 1 in LA, but I think we'll sweep in Boston and also Red Sox in 5. That's what I think.
I'm excited.
And it'd be great, and this is even what Nate says, like, he wants to celebrate in Boston. Obviously, he says that, but also he's going to want to win every game we're in, too, so I get that, too. But we'll still celebrate in Boston. Like I feel like actually, so I'm not going to go to a World Series game because they're crazy. I looked up the standing room only tickets are like $500, $600 or something.
I did see some today for $380 something.
For a standing room?
Yeah, standing room.
Standing room makes me nervous, though, because I feel like I've done it for like regular season games, but this is so packed in. I feel like you're going to really be like trying
These
to
are
elbow
pretty
people
far
out of the way.
back, too. The ones I saw were all the way down the right field line in that corner and like all the way up. You're not even like facing the field. You know what I mean? You're facing like the green monster kind of. Yeah. So
Red Sox Yankees, the game I went to, I was in the triangle. So, but we were 16 rows up. It's like not too far, and it was $100. We had seats. Like that's so much different than a $500 like standing room only seat, or $300. But even still, I don't know. So I'm not gonna go. But I would almost consider, depending on what I'm doing, if it's like a clinching game, to literally go to a bar in Boston. I've always wanted to do that. Never done it
I
before.
texted these guys about that today. I was like,
that would just be fun.
Totally do that.
Yeah.
Because then, in my opinion, as long as you don't spend $500 at the bar, you're saving money.
Oh yeah, and it'd almost be. I mean, it'd obviously be better to
bar
be there,
tab.
but the atmosphere would almost be comparable. I think.
Yeah.
As far as like what people are.
Oh, totally. And depending on how big of a game it is, you're there for the after party.
For sure.
So
Barstool is doing a
sweep would be the best night because Game 4 is on a Sunday. Other than that. I mean, on a Saturday. Game 4 is on a Saturday.
the 27th.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we got a Halloween party. Everybody come
you're
through
hosting
this
a
Saturday
Halloween
night.
Oh,
You're
that's not
inviting the whole
good.
podcast.
Yeah, whole
all
pad-
3 of them.
I'm not hosting a Halloween party.
DM,
I'm watching the Red
I
Sox.
thought about
so,
that.
Yeah.
I actually.
Sorry.
So I might. I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Last time I hosted a quote unquote party, I got criticized legitimately. A girl, really called me out because I didn't invite the people over, but they came over and I decided to talk to nobody and just watch the McGregor fight, which I feel like I was totally justified in. And I was like, hey, I didn't ask you to come
fight?
over. It was the McGregor fight.
Mayweather.
Khabib.
No.
McGregor.
Oh wait,
Khabib.
You hosted. That was a Halloween. Halloween party.
No,
This
he's
was a
saying-
different quote unquote party. I was not calling it a party.
I thought you guys were doing a McGregor watch party.
To be fair, it started as a McGregor watch party, and then
People wanted
there were
to go
some
at-
people
you can't criticize. You paid for it. Pay per view is like a
Yeah, people wanted to go out and they're like, "You're so lame. You just want to watch." Like this was literally said
you
to
and
me,
the
I was
rest
like,
of the sporting world.
Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm saving money. I'm
Kev,
sitting
if I was
in."
there, I would have supported you.
Where were you? What'd you
I was
do?
in New Hampshire.
I got
visiting
called
family.
out.
That's crazy.
I don't really
That
care.
girl's wrong.
Yeah.
So I thought you guys were literally.
Yeah,
watching
listen
it.
here.
There you go.
Yeah. No, but seriously, there is a Halloween party going on.
I know,
in
but
West
so
Hartford.
I'm actually going to somebody else's house, I think, but it's in like outside of Boston. Do you know Ruth?
Yep.
My friend Ruth. I don't.
Ruth
know.
Bader
Ruth-
Ginsburg.
Nope. I don't know if I want to say last name.
Yeah, I won't do it.
Nah,
but
it's all right.
I know.
I don't know if I
She
care,
owns a
but-
steakhouse, right? Her last name is Chris.
Uh,
Sorry, it's a joke. Ruth
yeah.
Chris's
I
steakhouse.
had never heard of that steakhouse.
Oh, it's a popular steakhouse.
Real foodie on our hands.
Comment on Nick's
anyway,
DMs
all
if
right.
you know that steakhouse.
Please rescind that joke.
No, that's definitely sad.
That joke is
What I
off
might
the
do is like you can like cut and I drag the rest of the audio, so there's like a long delay after that.
Yeah, I do not know.
Or
what
like
that
a
was.
car crash sound effect or something.
Yeah,
Put me
yeah,
on mute.
put that in.
Yeah,
there.
Crickets. So we
Yeah.
could use the crickets.
Crickets.
We had
Yes,
last
crickets
time.
would be good.
I literally have no idea what the heck.
Yeah,
it
never
is,
heard of that before.
But all right,
I don't know if
buddy.
he's a foodie. You know?
Yeah, I guess.
No,
like a
but
good
my
steak.
friend Ruth is hosting a Halloween party as well, and I was doing the math on these games, and I was like, "What am I?" I think I would literally like be like, "No, I'm staying home." Like I would think I'd blow up. It's not even it's a Halloween / like housewarming party, which makes it more special. Even like I should go to a housewarming party. I might not be able to make it.
Yeah.
Or it's outside of Boston. Like that's the other thing too. There's a real part of me that's considering driving past her house to the bars in Boston and watching somebody go. Like, but that's really rude. So
Also, speaking of that, do you guys ever remember growing up there being? I mean, I don't know how often Game 7 even happens, but has there ever been in our lifetimes a Game 7 on Halloween night? I was talking about that with my dad.
No, I think they were saying that this year everything's like later.
Game 7's on Halloween night.
Yeah,
It's usually earlier though.
I think
right?
one time
I think so,
the series extended into November because I remember somebody saying Mr. November. Might have even been a Red Sox series, but I'm just
November,
struggling.
huh? It's a good movie with
It must have
Pierce
been,
Brosnan.
Pre our lives. Yeah.
Who knows?
Mr. November is a Pierce Brosnan movie.
Yeah, it's pretty
But,
good.
Yeah, for me, anybody attending the party on Saturday, no, I do not want to hear how your job's going, but after 8 p.m., so shut the fuck up.
I'm
I will
tag
not
you
be
two on
talking to you.
Facebook, so people who are attending this party might actually hear.
Oh,
what you just
geez.
said.
Yeah. You're
Rescind
welcome.
it.
I'm not rescinding that. That's fact.
There's
I mean,
a lot
all
of
that
things.
once
It's
get
just a
called out
warning.
again. Yeah,
I'm not cutting out anything from this.
Yeah, I'm
I
a
feel
real
like nothing's
fucking
been
fan.
too. Yeah.
Yep.
Leave me alone.
We are
when
having
I'm watching
a-
the Red Sox. Leave me alone.
We're having a contest for best costume too.
I saw that.
Yeah.
What? That is so lame.
Did you not see the Facebook?
No,
of that?
I'm
It's
not
your
in on
house.
it. I don't fucking plan parties. I just show up and drink. All right,
You're
Like,
mentioned in
Show
the
up. It's
description.
your house.
That's
You better show up.
absurd.
You mentioned the description. I think more
Look,
than once.
I think the best Halloween, whatever fucking shit it is, best dress. I don't
He's
do those
lashing out.
things.
He's lashing out.
Yeah, and I do not agree with it. I'm sorry. That's
You
gonna
don't
get
agree
taken
with
down.
Halloween,
I don't agree with best costumes.
He's like the
Oh, sure,
Scrooge
sure,
of
sure.
Halloween.
but I do love Halloween. It's like maybe my favorite holiday. I love it.
everybody can have a good costume. Okay, everybody does a good job.
He's a socialist. All right, so let's get into some football real quick. Just to wrap this thing up. So, how do you feel about your Steelers?
First place. About as good of a
Wasn't
bye
Le'Veon
week.
Bell supposed to come
as
back and
good of
didn't,
a
though?
bye week as you can have.
To increase.
Yeah,
your
we
position in
go
the
from
standings?
third place to first place without playing a game.
Did Le'Veon
So-
Bell show up yet?
No.
Wasn't he supposed to before the bye week?
Well, rumor is that he's not going to show up till after the trade deadline. He doesn't want to get traded. I mean, I want him here this week. I wish we would just make a deal with him and tell him, like, dude, we're not going to trade you. Like, we're in first place. We're going for the championship. We need him if we want to win a championship, in my opinion. Love James Conner. Never done a full NFL season. I think that's an underrated factor. Everybody's saying, like, oh, we don't need Bell. Well, you know, James Conner's never played 16 games in the NFL, and everybody gets banged up. I want Le'Veon Bell on this team. That'll help us. So I'm sky high right now. We're going to beat the Browns. Not even worried about it. That's my lock of the week. Tease the Steelers. Pick another game that you like, but the Steelers will definitely beat the Browns. Kevin,
I don't know,
what's
man.
your-
Baker.
I don't even know who you are.
Baker out there.
Nobody knows what he is.
No, I'm a Pats fan.
I say
but,
Baker. Are you a
well,
Browns
yeah,
fan?
well, he's talking
Well,
about
he
them.
is a Browns fan
Oh,
too.
okay.
He was in Cleveland for the Browns' first
I
win.
was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your
How
guy's
many-
friend, I still don't know the term. I've talked to Steve about this. Cousin once removed, second
Yep.
cousin. My
Oh,
mom and
yeah.
his mom are cousins. We're
Yeah.
related somehow. Anyway.
Kev, can we
so-
tell the
lives in
story
Cleveland.
about what happened in Cleveland, please?
Oh,
I think
jeez.
that's just
yeah, that'll be fun.
What are we talking about? The game?
the
No, no.
wheelchair in
The stuff
You
outside.
being in a wheelchair in the Cleveland Indians
that's
Stadium.
all hearsay. I don't know.
No, I think people
Why don't you
need to
tell
hear
the
it.
people what the people are saying?
All right. Long story short, I was still riding the high off of the Browns winning their first game, and how many days? 630 something days.
I don't know the days, but the game happened on
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
and
It went
the
back to,
baseball
like,
game
Christmas
happened
Eve
on
or something.
Sunday.
Okay,
so this
it was
is a
lot of
3-day bender
celebrating.
later.
All right. A couple of hermit crab races later. All
What?
day. That happens in Cleveland.
Big thing in Cleveland.
Yep.
Hermit crab race is
Like
really
legit
fun.
hermit crabs?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
go to a
At
bar.
bar?
Yeah,
Yep.
there's like a circle.
Around the corner. It's called.
You pick a crab, they race.
All right.
Debatable animal cruelty, not gonna lie,
Yep.
but
Steve
it's
kept
pretty fun.
buying me some Long Islands after I was already pretty turned. And so the next day we were. This was on Sunday. At this point, we were going to the Red Sox Indians game, and I slept until about noon.
And the reason they're going to the Red Sox Indians game is our friends throwing out the first
Oh, yeah,
pitch.
Steve was throwing
That's
out the
why
first
he's
pitch.
going to Cleveland in the first
I was
place.
feeling awful.
I should have asked this before, but What is the story behind that? Why did he get to throw out the first pitch? Because where he works?
WB Mason.
Yeah, they have like a deal with
that's
the
crazy.
Indians.
Once a
it's
year,
awesome.
someone from their branch
He
gets to
bounced
throw out
it.
the
Yeah.
first pitch.
Steve, you bounced,
bounced it?
Steve bounced it, yeah.
No
Is it on
shout
YouTube
out
or something?
bitch.
No, but I have a
wish
video
it was.
I can upload.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just
Jeez.
completely dehydrated the next day. Anything I ate just wouldn't stay down. I would say I probably got sick before we went to the stadium, then in the parking garage, actually the lobby of the parking
That's what I
garage,
heard.
which was like a very nice hotel.
That's what I heard.
Found a garbage can though.
Oh, so I just heard the lobby. I just assumed it was like in the middle of the floor.
Oh no, found a good garbage can.
All right, that's classy.
Then when we were actually out on the field, and Steve was about to throw out the pitch,
You were on the field too?
oh yeah, right behind home plate, and
no.
then I felt sudden call of nature, and had to open up this little gate right behind home plate and find a bucket.
You puked in front of a stadium, people.
Yep.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing. More importantly, our friends' parents, who are saints.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
the good
Who?
people.
Steve?
Steve's parents.
My
He
mom-
threw up.
that's my mom's cousin. That's
Yeah,
what I was
there you
talking
go.
about.
Yeah, well, there you
Yeah.
go. He threw up
Man.
in front of them multiple
Oh,
times
no.
at the field.
Hey,
No.
it's all right.
I'll be sure to ask them about that.
completely
at,
recovered.
Next time I see them.
I did get a call from the Cleveland Indians. They asked if I was doing okay.
No way.
Yep. They had to make
Well,
sure.
he skipped
Yeah.
my favorite part of the story, which is him
Do you
being
think you resulted in their
wheelchaired.
loss?
What's that?
Do you think you contributed to their loss?
Oh no, that was Cora just trying to pump the brakes a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, he skipped the best part. Essentially, he throws up at the Indian Stadium. He's getting wheeled in the stadium to the medical tent, and they're asking him like how much he drank, and he legitimately says, "I haven't had anything to drink today. I'm just hungover." So just to picture my friend getting wheeled around the Cleveland Indian Stadium with my friend and his parents following him. That's a sight I wish I could have seen, and unfortunately, I will have never get the opportunity.
I'm sure the wheelchair came out like in the backstage area, not backstage, whatever, like the annals of Cleveland Stadium. But I like to imagine it was in the middle of the field.
Oh yeah, no, it was in the concessions area.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to imagine it was like while you were still on the field. You
No,
like
no.
a thumbs up to the crowd.
No, I
Like,
was
don't-
fighting through
I'll be
it.
back.
Just major dehydration. I couldn't bring myself to
You're
drink
battling?
any water for like 24 hours. So
Why? You felt you were gonna throw up? You
Yeah.
drank- Wow.
anytime I felt like I was going to put something down, yeah.
What
All right.
a harrowing story.
We digress. We
Yeah.
digress.
Yeah, yeah.
What a harrowing story. But who's your team? Patriots.
Patriots. Yep.
How do you
I'm
feel
an
about
all Boston guy. I
figured.
mean,
I guess I only really care about the Red Sox and the Cowboys as far as professional teams.
I would say I
I'm
definitely
a Bruins
care.
fan, I guess. I watch the
Yeah.
postseason. I'm not like a big into hockey.
Yeah, I care first and foremost about the Red Sox. Everything else is kind of just like Boston, just kind of all lumped into one. I would
Yeah.
say second, I really like the Celtics, and then
Yeah.
Patriots, and then Bruins. I hardly ever watch, but when I do, I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
So
Same. No, that's
Yeah.
how I feel about them. I'm just not into the NBA. Actually, if I'm gonna, I just root for I guess the Hornets because I like Kemba.
Kemba.
Yeah, I'm a huge UConn basketball fan. But NBA, and I did a whole NBA podcast with this guy like 2 weeks ago. He's actually from the MMA world, but he started by writing about the Phoenix Suns, diehard NBA fan. So I was like talking to him about basketball, and it's just very obvious how little I know. Like I don't know anything about the NBA. I know the sport, obviously, but I
Yeah.
don't know NBA. But technically, I'm a Kings fan.
oh, interesting.
Oh, that is disgusting.
But when I liked them, they
Give
were
us
so
the pick,
fucking
baby.
cool.
Celtics pick. Get
But
that pick.
when I liked the Kings, it was the starting five was Mike Bibby, Doug Christie, Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber, and Vlade Divac. That is a badass team. Like they were sick.
Yeah,
Peja
right.
Stojakovic is my favorite player ever. He's like just quiet, like assassin
Shooting.
I
Yeah.
love him.
He was awesome. I'm not
I love
gonna
him.
lie.
Chris Webber is badass too. God, what a team! Doesn't he
Yeah.
own them though? Yeah.
Yep. And
That's
now,
my team.
what do you think about the Cowboys, though? I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, so obviously
You saw what happened
I would have seen
yesterday,
you
right?
completely different to if I had seen you last Sunday.
If you saw me 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
you
you
would
would've
see me
been-
pretty much how I feel right now.
I know.
So I had a little high and low moment,
Yeah.
but yeah, just running the Jaguars out of town. That was great. Conor McGregor really spilled over, I think. That was they're all doing the Conor McGregor walk. If you're going to say that that's a coincidence, no. They won because Conor McGregor is a winner of a human, and he rubbed off on them.
Did you see McGregor throwing a football?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
That was hilarious.
Did you see what he said?
That's not a sport.
He owned it, though. He posted on Instagram. Hold on, I'll find it. His entire Instagram post is funny. So it's actually worth looking up. But, yeah, so that was great. I enjoyed every second of that. It was wonderful. It made me believe that this team actually had a chance of doing something. And then they went right back to being the Cowboys. Like, first of all, Dak fumbling it and letting up a touchdown like the 1 yard line is the most Cowboys thing ever over the past 10 years. And then for them to miss the field goal because a penalty pushed them back is the most fresh. I don't even blame the kicker.
It was a horrible call.
It's a fall. Yeah, and I never even heard those words from my referee.
It was horrific.
Snap infraction?
Yeah.
And then what was it? Well, they showed the replay and I was like, I don't see. What's he doing?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an explanation. I didn't look deeper into it, but it was just pure anger and upsetness from me. So that killed me. Hold on, let me look this up real quick. But, yeah, I don't blame. I mean, just it was a good kick too. It's 52 yards in a game-winning situation. It barely missed, hit the post.
Right.
So I'm not even mad about it. It's a rookie kick.
Yeah, 1 yard closer, literally would have gone in.
Well, they were 5 yards closer until they shot us off in the goddamn foot. So that's very infuriating to me. But I don't blame him. Outside of the fumble on the 1 yard line, I actually really like what Dak did basically in the last two drives. He's had some moments like that. I still don't. I'm been a Dak hater for the past. Literally since he's a rookie. I was like, this guy, he's doing well and he's winning, but if you look at what he's actually doing, he's checking down every time. He's an extension of the running game. I've yet to see him really throw downfield. He did it in this last game, but the guy could have hit that receiver. He's wide open.
Yep.
A sick move, by the way.
So that'd be my only concern in regards to why you pick up Cooper, because I agree, Dak hasn't shown the ability to throw down the field, so I'm just like, ugh.
Yes. That's Dez Bryant, I still think, is like as talented as he was with Romo, at least like for the later years of Romo. I think that the reason Dez Bryant became a non-factor is because Dak can't hit him. So why would Dak be able to hit this guy? It makes no sense. I don't think people are like, oh, a star receiver hasn't emerged. I don't think it's the receiver's fault necessarily. Yep. So I don't know. All right. So I mean, people won't be able to hear this, but someone posted the two best quarterbacks to take the field in Dallas today with like a picture of Dak next to Conor McGregor. It's a freeze frame of Conor McGregor throwing the terrible pass. McGregor posted that on Instagram, and he said. It's actually literally hard to pronounce some of this because it's so Irish. He said, ha ha ha, yous are fucking ruthless on this side. I just didn't want to rip my custom baby blue billionaire blazer. That was all, y'all. Great job to the Cowboys today. It's a proper giddy up tonight in Dallas, and I love it. See you soon.
You might want to...
Badass.
I recommend you watch this onside kick by the
oh, I definitely will.
Giants.
You're going to live
unbelievable.
reaction.
They suck.
You're going to live reaction on my onside kick. Oh, my God. I didn't even realize they needed it.
Close.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Nick,
how the fuck did they come
while
back?
you're referencing that tweet, do you have the ability to like show that on the screen? Can you do that
on YouTube?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. So the bigger issue.
Come on, show it.
We post one just the audio on YouTube. I don't even know if it's worth it, but then we post it there, and then also on I don't know, people know where they're listening, but it's either iTunes, Stitcher, Laughable, which I think is the best podcast app in the world. That one I had to like reach out to them and ask them to put me on, but because they like custom everything. Like it's not like you can't just like upload to Laughable. It's like they'll literally go through like my podcast, figure out what guests I have on, and then link that guest to like other podcasts that guest has been on. It's awesome.
So they're gonna know like which other podcasts I've been on in the past.
Yeah, they're gonna be able to watch all your other.
They're gonna look you up.
I was a guest on my school radio station a few times.
Oh really? Yeah, radio is still relevant, bud.
No, not a podcast. They had like a school radio show.
Nate also was on a radio show.
We had like a local, I don't know, radio station.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
WNEK.
Well, this is your debut, so I'll give you the floor. You got anything you want to plug or?
No, but I do want to say, so this is the 7th podcast?
I believe, yeah, so obviously, I mean, you know this, but I did an MMA podcast for like 5 years, and then when I started writing for The Disorderly, I started a podcast there too, and it's been a mix of things. I'll do those television companions, whatever. But I started the Sports Report podcast, which is basically MMA Mad podcast, except it branches out to other sports, obviously. Like this one's all baseball. And I believe, since I've been tracking those, I think this is episode 7.
All right. So I've been on 1 and 7 podcasts so far.
Yep.
And
you were invited onto another one, though. You blew me off.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, this stat wouldn't make sense then. So that is the same stat as the number of Cape Cod baseball players that make it into the MLB, 1 and 7. That's a little stat right there, yeah.
Wow.
So I am basically...
What a spooky Halloween.
Yeah,
stat
so I'm
you
basically just as good
Is
as
it the
Cape Cod
major
MLB
leagues
player.
or is it minor league baseball?
Yeah.
Like
Major league.
Professional baseball.
Professional, Major League, 1-7.
You just said two different things. Oh, Major League.
Yeah.
Major League,
Okay.
not minor.
Right.
Kev, look it up. Be my stat.
Man,
Corrected.
I don't know if I want to.
You don't want
Let's
to... Yeah, I'm very confident about it.
Is that stat just readily available?
I remember looking it up one day and just...
And it'll say like what percentage of Cape Cod people.
I was looking up Cape
I
Cod
watched the Cape
Baseball
Cod
League.
game this year.
Yeah, so...
No, we were on our way out and we just happened to be driving past one, my family, leaving the Cape, and they're just doing like their warm-ups. I think the game started like hours later, but we just like sat and watched them warm up.
I have so many autographed baseballs from growing up and watching them,
Yeah.
and they're just in my dad's shed, and I can't read any of the signatures, but I'm kind of mad because like I'm sure that some of them are players now in the MLB,
sure.
but I can't read them now, so
Yeah.
I don't know who I got.
I actually,
signed.
so this is another little baseball story. It fits in, so I'll say it now. But yeah, so in 2013, when the Red Sox won the World Series, that was the baseball season after the whole Newtown shooting.
Yeah.
And I was dating a girl at the time, like all through college, that went to Newtown High
Kevin's
School.
stat is from 2001, by the way.
Wow, seems irrelevant now.
No,
Yeah. 19 years old.
yeah. Well, I mean, in the whole scheme of the MLB, that's
It's a
not
good
that
stat.
long
It's a good
ago.
stat. I'll give it credit. It's
Wait, are
probably
you
still
saying
around
it's
the same.
changed?
Well, that was when it was reported. Was in 2001.
Has it been reported again since then?
I mean,
That'd be
I'm trying to read articles here, but it's tough.
Because you're saying that my stat is old, but you're not saying it's wrong.
Right.
Sorry.
That's all right. As Kevin continues to research the validity of that stat. So in Newtown, yeah. So obviously the shooting happened, and the Red Sox did this thing where it was like, if you are a family member of the one of the victims, a family member of the first responder, or are a first responder, or there was like a special counsel that was selected to decide what to do with the school and like how to respond or whatever. So the girl I was dating in college, she went to high school in Newtown. Her dad was part of this committee, so he was like in on this Red Sox thing or whatever. And their whole family is in Red Sox fans, so I got to go, which is like the weirdest, bittersweet moment of my life because it was crazy. It wasn't so. So the deal was they sent out buses to Newtown, bused people to Fenway Park, which is a far ride too. It's
Right.
like it's western part of Connecticut. So we went all the way to Fenway Park, and then when we got there, we got like a baseball, like a Red Sox hat. An actual baseball, a voucher for like a hot dog, soda, and like popcorn, some shit like that. And then at the end, we get to go out on the field and meet some of the players. And they told us on the bus ride too. They're like, all right, so we don't know how many players are going to show up. Like we just give it the option, but like we can guarantee some players will be there, but it might be like some relief pitchers. So like basically check your expectations. So we went out there. It was a super rainy day, cold rainy day. And the Red Sox got like blown out, or at least lost. They definitely lost, but I think they got blown out. It was like a bad game. So then we like finish the game, go down. We're in like a special section too, and then we go down into this clubhouse area and we're waiting. And originally you're supposed to be able to go on the field and stuff, but they said no because of the rain. They didn't want us to like fuck up the landscaping or whatever. So we walk out into the field. We had to stay outside of the base pass, but we got to like go in the dugout and stuff like that, and like it was really cool. And then the first person that comes out the door is Pedroia, and I was like, oh shit! Like I thought we were just getting like random people, and then the entire team came out. So what happened was we got to like wait in line. They even said like they only have like a little bit of amount of time, and then the players were like waving off the attendants. They're like, no, like we got all day with these people, and it was crazy because as a Red Sox fan, it's like my finest memory ever. Where it's like I literally met Pedroia, Poppy, everybody, everyone. The whole 2013 roster came out, and it was ridiculous. And I literally, me and my girlfriend have a picture with Big Poppy in the Red Sox dugout. Like it was just crazy. But also, there's people waiting in line with like pictures of like their like third grader who got like shot. It was like this. It was fucking crazy. It's like the weirdest. I felt like guilty being there, even though I didn't like do anything wrong. It was just, it's weird. But anyway.
For the record, ladies, he said me and my girlfriend. He's singles, ladies. That's X.
Yes.
I know you're all interested, but he is single. So
like, man,
I know some of your hearts dropped. I know your hearts dropped there.
Yeah, we already lost some people listening right there.
As soon as me and
Come on back in, ladies. Come on back in. He's
me
single.
and Andrew Benintendi were taking off the market, and ladies just sort of just still crying.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that podcast host. That's what they all said. So, but yeah, it was weird. But I had a Pedroia jersey that like my grandfather randomly had, and got it signed by like the entire 2013 roster. So I have all these signatures, And we just got the jersey. Like, my grandfather's like getting older, and he was like, "Oh, like this, you guys should have this." I gave it to. It's at my parents' house right now, but like I have the jersey, and we were like going through. My dad sent me a picture of the jersey, and I was going through trying to like match signatures with everyone, just like. But it is
figure it out.
It's a weird thing, and that's like way easier because I can look at the roster and be like, I can kind of make out who this is, but then you look up what their signatures are all like on Google Images, whatever.
Right.
So yeah, but it was crazy. That's I still feel weird. I feel like I need to like donate that jersey in like an auction or something.
Right,
It feels weird that I have it. Like I didn't because the only reason I had that opportunity is because this like tragedy at Newtown. But
Maybe you can do something like you can donate it to raise money for.
that's the thing. They have those blind auctions. Yeah, something.
Newtown.
I had that thought like that day. I was like, I don't like. What am I gonna do? Like display this shit? Like it's a sick piece of memorabilia, and that team went on to win the World Series. So it's literally signed by the 2013 World Series team. But yeah, it's a weird thing to have just because of why I have it. But no, it's cool. The Newtown police were like putting like badges on all the players. Like they stayed. They were literally the people were like, all right, like one more, and there's like single file lines in front of every player. They're kind of scattered. And they're like, all right, one more picture. And they're like, no. And they honestly stayed like 2 hours past.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a cool experience.
No, the Red Sox, yeah. I mean, it's almost like lost in it because they do that kind of shit all the time. But the Red Sox organization does crazy shit for people. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. You guys, anything? You got any final words, Kev?
Nick's single ladies, go get him.
If I don't
He's
think
a really nice guy. I don't have much to say. Let's go Red Sox. One thing I would say is I'm pretty sure this is being billed as the World Series preview.
Yeah, I'm releasing it tonight.
I have a recommendation. I think the World Series preview through the eyes of Red Sox fans.
Yeah, because let's people would know.
But we are extremely biased.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's the thing. It's dude, especially and we talked about this actually in another podcast, but especially in baseball, the fan bases are so localized. Like people almost don't want to listen to non-biased baseball coverage. Like they want to listen to like their teams, especially
I agree
baseball.
at that point.
Like I'll listen to Scott Van Pelt, who's on TV right now. I listen to him talk about like football all day. Baseball, like I want to hear it from the perspective of like my fan base. It's just a different sport.
Yeah, I don't need Steve Kirchin in my life anymore.
Right? Exactly.
Peter Gammons, though. I'd love for him to come back in. Also, lifelong Red Sox fan.
His tweets are unbelievable.
What?
Did you see the Donald Trump wall one?
No.
You don't follow his tweets?
I don't.
Holy shit.
I don't follow anybody over the age of 65 on Twitter.
Can't trust him.
No
way,
my
God. Dude. His tweets are crazy. All right, so now I have to end on this. I just got a bunch of texts from him.
I refuse to follow anybody above the age of 65.
What about once I turn 65?
Unfollow all my friends.
What do you think that is?
Ooh, interesting. You know,
Whoa.
Can't really review it, but
all right. So anyway,
yeah. The meaning of emojis.
Yeah. Stephen Gammons.
No, Peter Gammons, not Stephen Gammons. Come on, he's a legend.
I control this. I'll cut it up. Peter Gammons.
He loves the Cape Cod League, by the way. He's there every summer.
Oh, he's a good guy. He must know that stat well.
It's actually, so I looked up, in 2015, 23% of major leaguers had been in the Cape Cod Baseball League. So that's even better than the stat you'd given.
Wow.
It doesn't fit with his narrative, though.
So
it might fit with your narrative.
Wait, so that means I got to come back for more podcasts because I said I matched the ratio.
It might fit with your narrative of how many times you've been invited on the podcast.
Oh.
What's 2 divided by 7?
Ooh.
No, that's over 25%. That's over.
No,
25%.
it's close. I know.
But
a little
it's over
bit
25.
No, it's
over.
not.
2 for 7 is
it's not.
because 2 for 8 would be
2 for
25.
8 would be
25.
Oh, yeah.
25.
An idiot.
But 2 for 7 is
Yeah.
all right.
Kev always-
Not the math guy.
Kev
in the
always had
trivia
to cheat
team.
off
Let
me
me
in
read you
college
this
math
Peter
class.
Gammons. This is a Peter Gammons tweet.
Give me it.
It doesn't.
Live reaction.
What about Stephen
I'm ready.
Gammons?
It makes no sense.
Yeah, sure. This isn't Stephen Gammons.
Red Sox players. Oh no! Wait, hold on. Wait, I gotta find a better one.
Oh God.
I didn't even see this one, but I'll read this
Poor
one. Poor
old man.
Red Sox players know Alex Bregman is like Dustin Pedroia, 1977. I don't even understand what that means so far. They die to play with him, but some Boston media get upset with him. Are they upset that his great-grandfather, a courageous immigrant, was part of a group that brought the Boston Redskins and moved to Washington?
See, he just knows stuff that nobody else
He went
knows.
off on 10 different
So
tangents.
he's saying Pedroia's grandfather was an
Saying
immigrant?
Alex Bregman is like Dustin Pedroia, 1977.
Yep. So,
What?
You would need It's incredible to try to break down. Right.
That's amazing. Wow. I might have to follow him now.
I mean, I might not have to knock it right now until I understand it because it might be brilliant.
It's like your grandfather going off at Thanksgiving.
Here's one that is not brilliant. This is the one I was looking for. In the 8th inning of what may be a do-or-die game with the tension of a Game 7, Neanderthal Fenway Park fans, in quotes, chanting Yankees suck, which he censored suck. He put dash, dash, dash.
That's awesome.
Because suck is a bad word.
Hey, back when he was born.
Chanting Yankees suck.
He was beat for that.
Are eerily like those who chant lock her up at a political rally designed to demean female assault victims' trauma.
Oh my gosh, that is
in the
amazing.
Whole fucking world.
All right, I take it back.
Really?
This is like my third recent. Peter Gammons is a must follow on Twitter.
Jeez.
He is a must follow.
Yes,
that is awesome.
Is the last one he wrote. He literally just wrote. He took a picture of Fenway, the Green Monster, and the caption is just, "Is this Trump's wall?"
This is amazing.
What does that even mean?
This is Grandpa.
You can take a picture of any wall and just
He's literally Grandpa at Thanksgiving when politics comes up and you have to leave the room.
I got into some very political conversations I did not want to get into with my Southern relatives when I was
I avoid it at all costs.
So, who wants a beer? And
I avoid it. I avoid it.
How about those
Stay away from that.
I'm amazing at avoiding it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a good place to wrap it up. Peter Gammons, must follow on Twitter. Also follow the Disorderly Media on Twitter. My name is Nick Risner, again, NickRizner on Twitter.
Give him the follow.
Yep.
Rate, review, subscribe. Tell friends about this podcast. That's the biggest thing. And thanks, guys.
And if you want to hear me back, this is Kevin Babcock speaking. Send it to Nick's DM if you want to hear me back.
Yeah, guys, ladies, if you want to send in resumes for single Nick,
hold on a sec. I feel like
I'm taking resumes.
I think everyone in this podcast is single.
That's right, and I'll be the one accepting the resumes.
Okay.
Kevin's Coffee, 2Ks Instagram. Send them in. We'll have a good time.
You know all those pretty ladies listening to Red Sox sports podcast.
Oh, only the ones, only the best.
Many.
Only the best.
Yeah, and all those ladies, don't judge me about the Cleveland Indians. All right, that was one time.
Yeah.
All right, it's
He's really
not
got his
happening
act
again.
together since 2 weeks ago.
Yes, exactly. I feel much better now.
All right. All right. Thanks, guys. Peace.